If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Well, welcome back everybody to another exciting episode of Ted Talks Guitars and Life. Today on the docket, we are going to train our Leo Jaymz Kit Build Nashville project for a person who has sponsored this build, man. The guitar that you see in front of you and all of the parts were purchased by my friend Ken, who had an idea that maybe he could buy a Tele Kit guitar and that I could turn it into a Nashville config for him. And yeah, man, make a bunch of videos along the way. So that's what we're doing, Jack. If you hang on the channel, you already knew that. Hey, if it's your first time hanging out with us, man, welcome. Come back anytime and hang out with us at Ted Talks Guitars and Life. Lots of cool folks hanging out in the comments, man. It's a great place to chill for a while. Pull over to the side of the road, reflect, unwind, and hang out. Man, I pray whatever you're doing today, your day is filled, man, with people you love and people who affirm you and champion you and support you, man. I pray that you're doing what you dig and digging what you do, Jack. Life is too short not to, my friends. You got to have good community around you. You got to have good friends, man. Yeah, man, take the time to prioritize relationships that are important to you, my friends. All right, well, my friends, I wish that I had better news than what I'm about to share with you. I have discovered a fatal flaw with the Leo Jaymz Telecaster kit guitar. That fatal flaw has everything to do with these 6 saddles and my inability, I'm saying, my inability to intonate this guitar based on one simple fact. Let me get you in here real close. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, what you're looking at are some of the strangest saddles I've ever seen on a guitar. That is beside the point. However, stringing this guitar up is always a chore because these L-shaped, backwards L-shaped over here and L-shaped on this side, those saddles, man, will straight, when you're trying, I'm going to detune the E string. When you're in the process of putting strings on, man, these things pop up, fly around, and do all kind of wild things, and do this, and your string gets down here, caught in the bottom. This guy's just whining about everything. Well, I'm not whining. I do have a point. Thank you very much. And here's my point, my friends. I cannot get this saddle past that point. Now, I could force it a little bit further, but I will demonstrate. Now, I do not want to scratch this guitar any more than this wonky saddle has scratched the bridge plate. So let me try to put a cloth or something under here. Something like that. Alright guys, now here's the thing. This is supposed to be 25.5 scale length. Right now, this is pretty much there. But when I play my E string fretted on the 12th fret, I do not have a copacetic E, my friends. I have an E sharp. And that means that I need to put this saddle this way toward the bridge. Okay, if it were flat, I'd go that way toward the nut. However, when I take my screwdriver apparatus and I attempt, and the key word is always attempt, I can't get, look at this. It spins the whole situation, man. Now I can unscrew it if I hold this down, hold my mouth just right. I can release it. I can get it to go the other way. I can get it to go toward the nut. But I cannot get this saddle to go further back than it was when I started this video. You reach a point right here where it just starts spinning that saddle. So what I'm thinking this means is that this screw is too long for that shaft. And because that screw is too long for that shaft, when you hit the edge of that shaft, you can't go back any further. I have tried everything I have in my arsenal to hold that down with pliers and a clamp and tighten and tighten. I cannot get this to go any further back. All that to say, the simple version of the story is simply this, my friends. I cannot intonate this guitar copacetically. I do have most of the strings somewhat intonated. So word to the wise, those of you who are going to buy a Leo Jaymz Kit Guitar, hey, maybe you bought one of these Leo Jaymz Tele kits and maybe you got this to work. Is your guitar, let me ask you a real honest question, is your guitar copacetically intonated? And if so, how did you do that? I can't get these bridge saddles to go back any further than this point right here. And my E12 fretted is sharp as a tack, my friends. So, all that being equal and all that being said, my friends, if it were me and this were my guitar long term, the first thing I would do is either A, replace these saddles, or B, replace this bridge plate and the saddles. The bridge plate doesn't really feel all that flimsy. It's probably okay. But these saddles, man, if this were my guitar, these saddles would have to go. So that was not a part of this project plan, and I am not about to do project scope creep where I ask my sponsor who wanted me to build this for them to buy one more part that we didn't count on. That being said, these saddles are the worst, man. I cannot intonate that string. Now, you buy a kit guitar. This guitar was $85. Do you expect saddles that are junk? Yeah, probably, man. Don't even put it in the comments. You don't need to put it in the comments. What'd you expect? It's an $85 kit guitar. It's garbage. Blah, 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 blah. Guys, what I expected were saddles that I could at least turn the screw in to intonate my guitar, man. That being said, my friends, if you were going to buy the Leo Jaymz Tele Kit Guitar, you ought to know that these saddles got to go, man. Maybe we got a bad rig, man. That's always a possibility. I'm not saying every Leo Jaymz Telecaster is a problem. I'm just saying, man, that this ain't no good. So, word to the wise, man, these saddles are suspect at best in my estimation of things. If you're going to buy a kit guitar, and a lot of people would say, look, man, only people who know how to build guitars buy kits, and everybody who buys a kit knowing they're going to have to pour some money into it to upgrade parts, and so you should just get over yourself, Ted. All right, man, I'm just saying, for those who are shopping for a deal on the Zon and you see these, just know, go ahead and put it in the cart. If you get one for $85, I do think it's a good deal. You can see the project list on the channel of everything that I've done. This whole project will be posted soon. So you'll be able to check out all the vids and I'll tell you exactly what I think about it all together. I think it's a great deal at $85. If you're going to get this guitar for, even if you're going to pay $119 for it, do yourself a solid, man. Put the guitar in your cart and then get 6 saddles and put those in the cart too and replace these bad boys right here. Because a guitar you cannot intonate is a bad guitar, man. Well, at least you're going to have to buy some parts and do some other stuff, man. I hope this is helpful for somebody, man. I'm not slamming the Leo Jaymz company. I have recently purchased a Leo Jaymz single cut LP looking model. And yeah, man, that was a perfectly fine kit. I didn't have anything like this. I can intonate that guitar. Life is good. But this thing right here, man, I don't know, man. Maybe that's why the price dropped from $119 to $85. Maybe enough people bought these, figured out that you can intonate your guitar, and got on down the road with it, man. Started marking them down. Some people are going to say, man, it ain't a big deal that your guitar isn't intonated. Well, let me tell you this, man. If I play a G on the 3rd fret of this E string, it is not a G, it is a G sharp. If the rest of the band's in tune and they're playing G and I'm in G sharp, guess what? Everybody gonna hear that, man. Anyway, I hope this is helpful, man. It's not a hit vid at all. I'm just kind of getting the word out. We tell the truth and shame the devil around here at Ted Talks Guitars and Life, and the truth needs to be said. These saddles, at least on this guitar, are junk. Again, those of you who have this particular kit, could you intonate it? Could you adjust these saddles any further back than this point right here? I'd love to know. All right. Well, that is a word to the wise, my friends. So let me talk about what we can do since we cannot intonate. Now, the problem with not being able to intonate is, well, it's 2 or 3-fold, isn't it? One of the challenges with not being able to intonate your guitar is that the I in the beloved acronym TRAIN stands for, say it with me, intonate. And we truthfully cannot intonate this guitar at this point, which makes it hard to go to the next step in the TRAIN step, which would be N for, you guessed it, nut. So were we able to tune the guitar? We were. Were we able to get relief in the neck? We were. Were we able to get nope. Were we able to get our action copacetically where I like it to my player preferences? Yes, I was. Was I able to intonate this guitar? No, I was not. And so, what does that suggest then about working on the nut of the guitar? If I'm not intonated, then that means every fretted note I play on this E string, I'm out of tune. This G is G really sharp. Stand by, somebody's at the stinking door. So, what I was saying before my doorbell rang is that it's very difficult to get to the N in train when you cannot complete the I in train. But we're going to have to do it anyway, man. This nut, we had to move to the red bone nut because all of the other white bone nuts that I had were simply too short. This is, I believe it's 6 mil high, and so it's going to require some filing down just a little bit. And so I'm going to be working on the nut, filing it down, and doing the best I can to get this nut action where I want it to be. I don't know if you can see this or not. If I fret this on the 3rd fret, you can see all that real estate between the fret and the string. If you don't like an eyeball, non-scientific type situation, then we could take our .018 Music Nomad situation and put it under here, and you can see all the room you got right there. So in fact, let's see, what's the highest one we have? Yeah, nothing in this little bag of tricks right here, man. Here's 0.22. So this string's got to come down. And for those of you who are kind of new to all this, it all depends on one, how hard you're going to have to press to fret notes. And fretting notes should be somewhat effortless. Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your bad selves, everybody. We'll catch you down the road.